All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd please welcome to the stage the lovely and talented Mr. Steve Unger from Metal Church! Yeah! My brother.
What's up, Steve? How are you? Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a bona fide, full-on national and international touring rock star right here. I know some of you younger kids may not be super dialed into the Metal Church thing, but
because I'm old.
These guys are frickin' world famous. I mean, they draw crowds in like Kyrgyzstan and shit. For real. And I've been a big, huge fan for years, which brings me to my first question.
Uh-oh.
Not too long ago, the mighty Ronnie Monroe, also a Northwest alumni guy, went on to do some different things. And so back, I'm not exactly sure on the dates of when he was in the band, but the mighty Mike Howe has returned to the band.
Sweet.
You know, the guy that sings that
band.
How cool is that? My personal favorite Metal Church singer ever.
Yeah.
Man, I freaking love that guy's voice.
Seems to be the way a lot of people love Mike, you know, I mean, David Wayne, you can't replace him. He's dead, unfortunately, but, you know, Mike is here, and he just came in. We did some pre-production stuff about 2 weeks ago, and everything went great, and so we put the seal of approval on it. We put out the announcement. Mike Howe is back in the band.
Yes!
Official.
Celebrate! I'm telling you, that was fantastic news. You know, and I got to tell you, me and Steve are pretty good buddies. He told me, oh, there's some big news coming here. And this is actually months ago. And I was like, every time I'd see him out, I'd wait for him to have that one extra drink and be willing to divulge. Every single time I saw him, I'm not even joking. I'd be like, so bro, what's the story? It's like, oh, can't really talk about that. I gotta say, that's a professional though, you know, and all of us
secrecy, man. Sworn to secrecy.
Yep. All of us musicians from time to time have big news, so we have to keep to ourselves. And I think we can all agree it kills us inside.
It does. I wanted to tell everybody. I was like, fuck, you know, we got Mike Howe coming back, but I couldn't. And everybody, you know, was all over the internet, you know, oh, Mike Howe, Mike Howe, Mike Howe. But we couldn't give the official statement until we had all gotten together in the same room, did some pre-production, and made sure that everything was going to be what it was going to be. And, you know, once we did that, we all looked at each other, put our hands in, and boom, there it is. And now we've made the announcement, and we've got more offers and things happening here in the next year that it's blowing my mind, actually. So
Great news. Yes.
That's very, very exciting.
Can I share a little Metal Church story from my childhood?
You got a Metal Church story?
I do.
All right.
Actually, so, you know, as a kid, I lived in a basement in my mom's house, and I used
Don't you still live in the basement?
I do still live in the basement. Yes. And so one of the things I used to do, like I think all of us kids did, you know, you hung posters and stuff. Well, I used to do the band logos. I would draw them on the wall because it was a brick wall, obviously, and then you know, just like the logo on the album. And I'd paint it the same colors and everything, and I had Metal Church was one of those bands. I grew up with, heavily influenced by these guys. And my mom used to work for a shipping company or whatever, and Craig Wells, one of the original members of the band, my mom found out that, well, first off, his dad owned a honor system snack kind of company where they come in and it's like a box with candy bars, and you just put the coins in this little cardboard slot and you take what you want.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, one day Craig's dad was unavailable, and so Craig did the route, and somehow my mom found out that he was with Metal Church, and she's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, my son has your name spray painted on his wall in the basement.
That's awesome.
So the next time Craig came by, he brought me an LP vinyl, promotional, little knots on it, autographed by the whole band, and I just thought that was awesome. And here it is, how many years later, and now I'm sitting next to Steve. I think that's pretty damn cool.
I know it personally.
I am not new to the Metal Church.
You know, all the guys, past and present in Metal Church, are actually very cool guys. And, you know, people are always asking me, do you guys have, like, any animosity towards each other? And it's like, not really. I mean, you know, whenever we're in town and, like, Duke Erickson comes out, I call him up on stage and I hand him my bass. You know, the other guys in the band are always like, you know, Steve, do you mind? I was like, do I mind? Jesus Christ, look, this crowd out here is going to freak the hell out if I hand my bass to Duke, you know? And so I do, and he gets up and he plays 2 or 3 songs, and then he hands it back to me. And anytime we're out in the U.S. and we're in a town where one of the guys that used to be in the band are, they always come out. And we always call them up on stage, and they always do their thing. And it's just like, you know, there's been a lot of members in Metal Church, and it's kind of a big, happy family, really. I mean, nobody has left the band on bad terms except for Ronnie. Yeah, it's all right. It was a mutual thing between us and Ronnie. Ronnie wanted to do other things, and, you know, we wanted to keep going with what we're doing. And I think we're going to end up with the better side of things. We got Mike Howe back, and
yeah, so, I would have to say that's a win for Metal Church at the end of the day.
It is a win for the band.
And if you guys have never heard Mike Howe sing, stay tuned. I'm sure you guys will be doing some shows around here at some point to blast off, right?
Sooner or later, we're going to be doing something. We're basically between now and October, we're working on the new album. So there will be a new album with Mike Howe screaming his lungs out. And October, we got Japan coming up, and then we got the Knot Fest. Loudness. We played down in Brazil with Loudness. They were great, man. That was a strange show. It was Loudness, Molly Hatchet, Metal Church, and Twisted Sister.
Wow.
Molly
that
Hatchet,
is a melting pot for sure.
That's
is awesome.
A little bit of everything going on there.
So aside from all the exciting things going on with Metal Church, you know, both your boys have a hell of a band together. In fact, we got one of the members out here, Mr. Chase Height.
Chase Circus! Yeah.
And you guys just got back from a tour and stuff. You want to give us some good tour stories? How was playing in Vegas and Vamped and all the good stuff?
Oh, man. Well, we went down there, and the boys just destroyed like they do every time. I don't know how many of you were here February 14th for their CD release party, but they destroyed this place. And then we went down to Vegas, and we played Vamped and the Hard Rock Cafe, and they destroyed both of those places.
Very cool.
And then we went to Hollywood, and we destroyed a place called Amplify. The place was about the size of the stage, but that's besides the point.
Hey, man, sometimes a really packed small place can be really cool and intense, you know?
Well, I got to say, Vamped was an incredible show. And the boys opened up the show, and, you know, I don't even know if I'd want to go on stage after the guys got done doing their thing, because they are badass.
So I'm sure a lot of musicians out here would like to know, how would a band from Washington get into a place like Vamped?
How would you get into Vamped?
Huh?
You got to make some phone calls.
Yeah.
Drop a name or 3.
Gotcha.
And, you know, basically have people that'll back up your story, and next thing you know, you're there.
So I guess, you know, when you're calling up and you're like, yeah, this is Steve Unger from Metal Church, it's not real hard to get that decision maker guy, like the count's all like, stop the show. Steve Unger's on the phone. I'll be right back.
It's not quite that easy. I wish it was that easy, but it's just not quite that easy.
Yeah.
You still got to have other people call up and, you know, vouch for a dude, you know, with this band, Sin Circus. They're kick-ass. I've seen them, and, you know, and they did. They went in there and they destroyed the place, and, you know, now I've got all their private numbers and everything, so the next time we're rolling through town, I can call them and say, hey, the band's coming back through. Can we have a gig? And they're going to be like, hell yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, we've got our lovely model, Sarah Stewart, out there with the roving microphone duties. Now, I know some of you guys have got to have some questions for Steve Unger out there. Anybody, please, raise your hand. Sarah will come right over to you. You don't even have to move. Just get to ask your question, and Steve will answer it.
Don't be shy.
Preferably not
I
like
have one over here.
calculus.
Coming over to you.
Steve's a nice guy. He won't bite.
Thank you.
I'm kind of,
Thank
I'd bite a little bit.
Okay, hi. What's your name?
Shannon Unger Bueller.
Man, that's my sister. Oh, screwed now.
Here we go.
Oh, boy.
I just had a fundamental question. To get into Vamp, don't you have to have talent?
I couldn't hear. What did she say?
Could you speak up, please?
Hey, Sarah, can you get that mic right up there for us, please?
Don't you have to be talented like Sin Circus to get into Vamped?
Well,
It doesn't take a phone call.
I don't know. The
You
bands that
send them a
went, I'm not going to
video,
say who it was,
and
but
they
there was
accept
bands
it.
that went on after Sin Circus that I don't think should have been playing there, but that's not for me to say. I think a lot of it is who you are, what you've done in the scene. You know, a lot of bands have come from bands that did something back in the 80s and they're still kind of living on it, and so be it. You know, if you got a name, it seems like you can get a gig.
There was a question. There was another question from a anonymous guest, and they were wondering if you have any funny stories from on the road when maybe you've had some mishaps with equipment or anything to that effect.
Yeah, that never
Well,
happens.
how much time do we got? The craziest story I got is from Amsterdam. We played a place called the Melkweg, which is a lot like, what's this little place down here off of 99, the little dome building?
Oh, the Cedarwood
the
Dome?
Cedarwood.
It's a lot like the Cedarwood, a little mini dome, and we played this place, and I was wondering how in the hell our tour bus driver was going to get this big double-decker tour bus down these cobblestone streets. And he managed to do it, and he pulls into this venue, we unload the stuff, we do the show. At the end of the show, the venue owner asks us, he goes, hey, I got a good buddy of mine that has a restaurant bar 3 doors down. Please, it would be an honor if you guys would come down, drinks, food, anything's on the house. So we left in our stage clothes to walk 3 streets down to go to this place. And while we're at this place having drinks and everything, the stage crew is loading up our gear. Well, the police, or as they're known in Amsterdam, the policia, made our guys move the tour bus. So they moved the tour bus while we were not there. And Jeff Plate and myself, we decided we were going to head back to the bus, and we get back to where it was parked at one time, and it's not there. I'm like, where's our bus? I'm still in my black leather pants and my boots and my sweaty shirt from the stage, and I'm like, where's our damn bus at? And the place that we played is like got chains on it and everything, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like banging on the back door of this place, and a security guy comes out and he's like, yeah, they made you move the bus. And I'm like, well, where would it possibly be? And they're like, well, they usually make people park the buses down at this Grand Central Station. And I was like, well, where is that? And they're like, well, you see that white line painted on the road? Just follow that, it'll take you directly to Grand Central Station. In Amsterdam, they have white, red, and blue lines painted to go to different places. And this will take you...
It's like the Puyallup Fair, kind of, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So we start, this is like, bus call is 5 a.m., and it's about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning right now. And we left all of our cell phones on the tour bus, so we had no way of contacting anybody. We left all the legal medications that we bought while in Amsterdam on the tour bus. Because we can't do that before we go on stage, so we wait until we get off stage. And so we start walking, and it's dark, and there's nobody on the streets, and we're walking, and then we're walking, and then we're walking some more. I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, dude, we've been walking for an hour. And finally, we get to Grand Central Station. Grand Central Station is like a mile from one side of it to the other, and we came out right in the center. So I looked this way, and I looked this way. And I'm like, well, let's go check out to the left first. So we walk a half mile this way. We look down that road, no tour bus. So now we got to walk an entire mile back to the other side of this, and we look that way, no tour bus. So I see about a half mile away, I see cop lights flashing, and I'm like, all right, the police got to know where a tour bus is parked. So I walk up to where the police lights are flashing, and I see Ronnie. He's all freezing his ass off with a jacket like this. And this chick that he was at the restaurant that we were just at an hour before gave him a ride to where the security guy said that the tour bus would be. And she went down a one-way street and got pulled over by the cops and got a DWI. So she's like laid out over the top of the car. Ronnie's standing there, and the police are trying to get Ronnie to drive this girl's car home. And he's like, I can't drive that car. I don't know where I'm at. I don't even know this chick. And so Ronnie sees us and he's like, he comes running over and gives me the biggest hug he ever did. I thought I was lost forever. I was never going to see anybody. So now it's me, Ronnie, and Jeff. Still no tour bus. And so I'm like, man, this is some bullshit right here. So we're walking around, and finally I flag down this taxi cab, and I'm like, please tell me you speak English. And the guy's like, a little bit. So I try to explain to him, we're looking for a tour bus, and he goes, okay, get in. We drove up and down for an hour every single street in Amsterdam and did not find a tour bus. Finally, he's like, dude, there's one more place we can go look. And it was back behind Central Station. They had a bunch of construction going on, and they had like this 20-foot wood fence that went like a mile the whole distance of this place. And we toured around the back of this thing, and about halfway in between this thing is a little indentation, and there's our tour bus parked right there.
Whoa.
And I'm like, that's my bus. Pull over.
Like hidden under like branches and leaves and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
camouflage.
yeah. And the thing is we walked around the back side of this place and we looked down this fence line, and it just looked like it just went on and on and on. But there was an indentation. That's where our bus was parked.
Nice little parking job.
So we get there, and my tour manager jumps off the bus. Where in the hell have you guys been? I'm like, where in the hell have we been? We've been looking for you. You know, you're supposed to leave a note, tell somebody. And so anyway, he's like, get on the damn bus. We got to go. So I go, all right, taxi driver, what do I owe you? And he goes, you don't owe me nothing. This was hilarious. I'm going to tell this story for years to come.
Well, thank you, anonymous person, whoever you were. That was an awesome story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please make some more noise from Steve Unger from Metal Church. Steve, thank you so much for being on the show, brother.
Right on,
Thank
man.
you, Steve. Thank you, brother.
All right, so I believe we worked out all of those saucy kinks in the sound system with the video machine. So we're going to go ahead, and we were lucky enough, Wade and I and some of our production staff got to go up to KISW, get a tour of the
Can I
station.
get a fish sandwich?
Yeah. We got a little tour of the studio. Now, we ended up with so much footage we couldn't put it all together. So we got a little montage at the beginning of the tour segment when we release this show online next week. By the way, we are shooting all this. We will be editing it, and this entire show will be going online, minus a few of the technical difficulties. That story's for sure going online. Anyhow, we have our lovely roving reporter, Rebecca Terry, did the interview with Jolene. That's coming up right now. So as soon as they get that rocking and rolling, we'll be back with our final guests of the evening, Tony and Glenn from Windowpane. Yeah!